Dragons are everywhere in media and culture. Game of Thrones, How to Train Your Dragon, the 1996 movie Dragonheart starring Sean Connery as the dragon.
Hello.
But no dragon is as fearsome in the game of Magic the Gathering as the Dragon. They're the #1 most built commander on EDH Rec. So without further ado, here's everything wrong with them. First, let's start with the lore. You see, the Dragon is as old as the dawn of time, which means he's probably holding on to his 3-bed, 3-bath and refuses to sell and expects everybody else to pull themselves up by the claw straps. He's also the father of all the elder dragons. Basically, he's Nick Cannon if one of Nick Cannon's kids started a multiversal war. I'm looking at you, Nicol Bolas. The flaps of his goofy-ass wings cause dragon storms to happen as he flies in between planes of existence. I just know the Geico Gecko hates to see the insurance claims for when this dragon dude flies by. Anyway, the Dragon is basically the father of all dragons, and he's a multiversal threat. He's this big dude. He just is a dragon somewhere. It's sick. But moving on from the lore, we have the actual mechanics of the card itself. The Dragon is a whopping 9 mana, 4 generic, and then Wooburg, 1 mana of each color. But it really doesn't matter because the Dragon has eminence. Basically, Commander's version of nepotism. Just for having the Dragon in your command zone, you get a discount of 1 mana from every dragon spell that you cast. There is no counterplay for your opponents. They cannot remove this. You're just in the command zone with it. You just get a free dragon medallion. Your entire mana curve is moved over by 1. Now it's like starting the game a turn early. And it's not even once per turn. It's every dragon spell. So you can throw out cheap dragons more frequently, and your big dragons can hit the battlefield now at least a turn early. This will become more relevant once you see what kind of dragons the Dragon likes to run in their decks. The Dragon also flies, obviously, because it's a dragon.
They fly now? They fly now!
And it's a 10/10, so 2-ish hits, and you've knocked an opponent out of the game. Now, you remember how the Dragon's nepotism lets him cheat the mana cost of all dragons by 1? Yeah, well, if he makes it to the field and you attack with dragons, which is your entire deck, you get to draw cards and then put a permanent into play. Doesn't even have to be a dragon. Can be an enchantment. Could be a land. But let's be real, it's going to be a dragon. In 99% of cases, it's going to be a dragon. But he's 9 mana, Your Honor. Shut the hell up. You're obviously not playing this guy on curve. He sits there in the command zone, biding his time. You build a sweet board of dragons. Someone blasphemous acts and board wipes. Then you build your board again. That's when you strike. You bring him out of the command zone fast, hot, ready, delicate chess game, except your chess game also lets you have a bazooka. And let's be real, the 9 mana doesn't matter because the Dragon has green. Hell, he has all 5 colors. You get the 1 mana white removal. You get green ramp. You get blue card draw. You get red burn. You get black reanimate. All the best staples stapled to the gnarliest commander. And his 5-color identity means you can run any dragon ever printed. No questions asked. No creative limitations. Cool dragon, it's in the deck. Night Fury, throw it in there. 1996 dragon played by Sean Connery, throw it in there.
Hello.
Which is the perfect segue for us to finally talk about what other dragons are going to pop up in an Dragon deck. And these all count as the Dragon's fault. He made them. The sins of the child are the sins of the father, or something like that. Also, commanders can't exist in a vacuum. They are built around with 99 other cards. So these will pop up basically in every single Dragon deck. Let's start off with Mirim, Sentinel Worm. He's 3, a green, a blue, and a red for a 6/6 flying ward 2 dragon spirit that says whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you make a token that's a copy of it forever, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. This guy could be the subject of his own video, but boiling it down, he doubles your dragons, including the legendary ones. So the Dragon reduces the dragon cost. And then Mirim says, oh, those cheap dragons now, you get 2 of them. That's right, and they're all flyers, most likely. They all do a billion damage, and now you get more dragons, and that's good, because if the Ur Dragon's out, then you get to cheat more things into play, because you got bigger dragons, you draw more cards. It's crazy! Next up on the deck list, you're going to run into Terror of the Peaks. 5 mana for a 5/4 flying. Spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. Whatever, who cares about that? Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So now all your dragons that you're getting for way cheaper are orbital lasers that can destroy entire planets, since your dragons tend to have a massive power toughness. Your commander's a 10/10. 10 damage right to the face to an opponent, that's a quarter of their life if they don't have any life gain. And by the time this guy comes out, they're already probably low. That's like half their life at that point. It's crazy. Moving right along, it's Hellkite Courser. The 6 mana dragon, reduced by 1 to 5, says whenever this creature enters, you may put a commander you own from the command zone on the battlefield with haste, put it back on the end step. This is insanity. The Ur Dragon gets its dragon trigger. It's a giant 10/10 flying in the air. You get to put a permanent down. You get to draw a bunch of cards, most likely. This thing is busted. You get your 10 mana commander, basically, for 5 mana. And you get another creature that's staying on the battlefield after the Ur Dragon leaves. What's not to like? This card's going to pop up all the goddamn time. What a crazy card. Now, a free commander every once in a while is pretty fun. But what if all of our dragons were free forever? Well, that's where Dracogenesis comes in. It's 8 mana for an enchantment that says you may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. That's right, baby. It's Rooftop Storm, but for dragons. So just sit back, relax, and cast literally every dragon spell in your deck for free whatsoever. It's 8 mana, whatever, who cares? You're running a lot of mana fixing because you're the Ur Dragon, so it's not even that big of a deal. And free dragons with a -1 cost reduction, you're getting mana back. If only that's how that worked. I know that's not how it works, but imagine if that's how it was and how that would work. But maybe you're like, 8 mana is too much. I can't swing that. Well, guess what? Klauth Unrivaled Ancient is 7 mana, but he's reduced by our commander. A flying haste 4/4. But whenever Klauth Unrivaled Ancient attacks, we're going to add X mana in any combination of colors, where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend this mana only on spells until end of turn. We don't lose this mana. So basically, we get all the mana we could ever want. Dragons are huge. Dragons are massive. When they attack, we're going to get 10, 20 mana to sit around. That's basically the Dracogenesis the long way, where now our things are free anyway because we were already getting them for free. Klauth is busted. And if we get double copies with Mirror, we just get double to double mana, and then we have so much mana. What are we going to do with all this mana? I don't know. And then finally, no Ur Dragon deck is not complete without the Ur Dragon at Home, aka the Costco version, aka Ureni of the Unwritten. They're 7 mana for a 7/7 flying trample, whatever. When they enter or attack, look at the top 8 cards of our library. We can put a dragon card from them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So the Ur Dragon's ability, guess what? You draw cards, you look and see, hey, there's a permanent, put it on the battlefield. Ureni just goes, hey, find a dragon, put him on the battlefield, baby, that's sick. And then I enter an attack. I get to do it every single turn as long as you don't get removed. It's whatever, doesn't matter. You just get to cheat stuff out. So now the Ur Dragon cheats and the Ureni cheats as well. You see what I did there? It was like Ureni because it's got the in the beginning. Anyway, the Ur Dragon is insane. Now, while I could sit here and list off every single awesome dragon that exists in Magic, which would take forever because there's a lot, let's just simplify down the Ur Dragon strategy. Random bullshit, go. You play dragons, you hit with dragons, the Ur Dragon comes out, he cheats something into play, and you win most likely because that's awesome and dragons are sick. So that's not that fun, right? Well, let's play Dragon's Advocate here. What's fun about the Ur Dragon? Why is this guy the most built commander on EDH Rec? Well, what's fun about him is pretty much everything. If you're the one running him, you get cheaper dragons, which means more dragons in general, which is sick because dragons are sick. You get all 5 colors, which means if you're balling on a budget, you can put together a pretty okay deck with C and B tier dragons that don't cost $100. You don't have to run Ancient Copper or really any of the ancient dragons whatsoever, Old Gnawbone, etc., all those big baller ones. You can play on a budget with Draft Chaff. You can just, there's dragons in every goddamn pack of Magic these days, pretty much. You can run them now because, you know, they get discounted cheaper, so they're better mana-wise, they're more efficient. New players can open up packs. Hey, that's a dragon. Let me go put it in my, dragon deck, and they put it in the Ur Dragon because it's okay. It's fun. It's whatever. So is there any hope for the Ur Dragon, this monster from the dawn of time, to provide a fun game for friends and everybody at the dinner table? Yeah, maybe. You can always challenge yourself to play one color of dragons, leaving the Dragon in the command zone, unless you get lucky with Chromatic Lantern or something like that. But if we're going to do that, why not just play another monocolored dragon commander instead? Well, to put it plain and simple, the Dragon is kind of the Pikachu of Magic. It's iconic and cool, and everybody likes dragons. Everybody enjoys dragon media pretty much. If you play Magic, you're gonna like dragons, such as the 1996 hit Sean Connery and Jack Quaid movie Dragonheart.
Hello.
And to sum it up, completely unbiased, I think the Dragon is one of the most flavor to taste commanders out there. They're just pretty good. You want more busted dragons? You got them. You want to run goofy shapeshifters or draft dragons you open with the boys at a pre-release or found at a thrift store? Go for it. You can build the Dragon kind of however you want and still do okay. You won't be dead in the water unless you are really, really just bad at the game. And sometimes it can be baller to just play commander and never actually cast your commander. Just goof around with dragons or other stuff and play around. It's really fun. So yeah, that's everything wrong with the Dragon. Which commander do you want to see next? Leave it in the comments down below. If you want to support the channel, feel free to check out my Patreon, link below, or pick up any of my sweet playmats from jankmats.com. And if you like nerdy content, I have a second channel. Whoa, that's all me talking about fun, nerdy, niche topics. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.